Hi everybody, and welcome to our Sacred Marriage 3-month deepening video snippet. This is a little video for those of you who are considering joining us on this 3-month experimental adventure into the frontiers of consciousness in the realm of relationship. And I would say that this isn't going to be the one and only opportunity to travel with us in this way. I'm pretty sure we'll be offering this again and again. So the thing I'd like to point out, Pete will be joining us in a moment, is something that I have been experiencing so deeply recently, and that is the vital importance of inner marriage. I remember just before getting together with Pete, that was something I was very much enjoying, this internal marriage, this union of my own masculine and feminine and my own human and divine self. And when I met Pete, that quality of life went out the window. And I was telling myself, it's okay to go into sacred union because your inner union is complete. That was a grave mistake and ignorance on my own behalf. It's not something that you get, it's something that you maintain. And so I just want to show you visually, what do I mean by that? So for instance, here I am sat in front of the camera, and you are getting an impression of me by myself. Now I want you to pay attention to what happens when another person joins me. So if you just get real close. So just let your eyes rest now in the reality that there is two people in the frame. And this is what happens when you're so close. Your energies obviously start meeting and merging and creating the third being, which is what we're after. We're after the marriage of the two. But trust me, beloved friends, trust me when I say at the early stages, gotta have a bit of time by yourself. You gotta come back into your inner marriage, because otherwise you're gonna fry. You are gonna have one initiation after the other, after the other, after the other, and this is something we have experienced. So before I pass over to Pete, I want to say that this sacred marriage 3-month deepening, whether you're doing it alone or in partnership with someone else, there is going to be a constant dance between the serenity of your aloneness and the intimacy of your togetherness. And as someone fabulous once said, can't remember, remember the pillars of the temple are neither too close nor too far apart. And the pillars being obviously the two in the relationship. Not are they creating a shopping mall or a library or a bakery? No, they're creating a temple. So not too close and not too far apart. A nice little balance of the two. And I often prefer to show it more like this. So a coming together, an intensity and a pulling back, an intensity and a pulling back. And as the intensity comes, so you raise to the next level, you pull back, you integrate that new level that you've raised to, back on again, and so eventually up and up and up, and then there is no pulling apart and coming together. You're mature enough, I guess, to be able to withstand the intensity, and it is literally just a spiraling up into the higher aspects of self-embodiment.
Yeah, super important not to get completely lost in the relationship. That's been a characteristic of mine, of being in beautiful connection and harmony with a beautiful partner, and completely losing my own center, my own sense of self, and kind of a few months down the road, kind of having no idea of where I end and she begins, kind of thing. And although that sounds very romantic, very beautiful in some ways, if a guy or the partner are not standing on their own 2 feet as a complement to each other, then one person can't carry both people's responsibilities and journey. It has to be both as individuals choosing on a day-by-day basis each other and the relationship. So it's super important to keep hold of that sovereign sense of self within the context of relationship, where neither individual nor relationship is the more important. It depends, I think maybe what Anaiya was saying, this depends what's happening in the moment as to which part or who is in the ascendant or holding space, or who is triggered and who is holding space for them. Super important dynamics. There isn't fixed roles in any way.
So before I do my disappearing act, for you to experience Pete by himself, I wanted to raise one more point. Oh yeah, that was it. So with the sacred marriage ceremony, we've come up with I think it's about 9 very strong suggestions. And this is to, again, intensify this sacred container. I don't know about you guys, but I have lived a very fluid and flexible and comme ci, comme ça, manana, very, very loose understanding of relationship, which again was a perfect place for me to hide, to withhold truth, to tell a half-truth, to not say anything at all. Perfect environment for unconscious relating. And so when you get your sacred marriage oath, you might look at these 9 suggestions and go, bloody hell, that looks a bit hard, that looks a bit strict, that looks a little bit too disciplined. But we've done that in such a way that you can grab hold of all of your energy and know precisely where you're showing up sovereignly, if that's such a word, authentically, and precisely where you are hiding. So we have done this on purpose so you can have a really robust and authentic reading of how you are behaving in this more conscious arena of relating to yourself and to the other one. And we will take 1 point per week over the 3 months to just raise the subject again and again and again. And again, you can Skype with us individually on that one, and we will also be speaking to the whole group, so it's going to be a shared community experience of how we're all going through these rings of fire that are destined to burn off all the dross and illuminate the deliciousness. So, over to Pete.
Yeah, I really want to talk to the guys especially. On first appearance, these set of, and they are suggestions, can seem like a set of restrictions, but that's not what it's about. It's not about you can and can't do. It's about creating a safe container for the relationship, about creating a safe space for self and each other for a limited amount of time. 3 months. It isn't that long, but it's certainly long enough to get into a routine of calling yourself back away from, for example, one of the paragraphs is about back doors. And that back door is the kind of thing where perhaps as a guy you keep good contact with some of your female friends, unconsciously perhaps, in the idea that should this main relationship, something happen to it, then you've got someone else to pick up with. And it's every kind of back door like that for 3 months, shutting and bolting the door, removing that possibility, not to be a restriction, but to add that energy into the main relationship, giving it a living chance. And my experience with Anaiya is this kind of thing that appears to be a set of restrictions actually creates more freedom, because in my experience I have more energy to live within this relationship, and I feel, because I'm trusted that by Anaiya, that again my energy for the whole process expands. I feel lighter, I feel trusted, and as a man, feeling trusted seems to be a super important thing. I feel a sense of growth in that when I look at her and can see super clearly she trusts me. I can feel that. So I would say also, guys, this kind of process actually demands an amount of courage, perhaps more courage than even those of you who are soldiers or ex-soldiers, because it demands that you yourself are keeping an eye on your container, making sure you're doing your part to this, and it's not always easy. Lastly, to just kind of round off, again, not a set of restrictions. It's about considering from a mature place, what do I want in a connection with myself, but in a connection with a partner, and giving each other, giving yourself and giving the relationship the healthiest possible space in which to grow. And believe me, the payoff is amazing. The deepening and recognizing of self, the stripping away of self-delusion is incredible. So hang on in there with us. We're doing the process alongside you. It's very, very real for both of us. It's not just something we're rehearsing for some other workshop. We're actually doing it with you. And it'll be fun hearing what you have, what your observations are, what your advice for others perhaps would be. So see you again real soon, I hope, online or wherever. Bye for now.